You wake up each morning with a limited amount of emotional energy, yet before the day even starts, you already feel drained. Not because life is difficult, but because you keep giving parts of yourself to things that don't help you grow. You argue with people who don't deserve your time. You overthink opinions that don't matter. You keep explaining yourself to people who have already chosen not to understand you, and deep down, you feel it. The quiet frustration of someone who knows they were meant for more, yet continues to settle for less. But here's a truth most people never see. The problem isn't the world. It's the lack of self-value Buddhism teaches that we suffer because we hold on to what doesn't support our soul. When you don't value yourself, you put up with things that drain you. You accept things that hurt you. You let in things that block your growth. But the moment you choose self-worth, everything begins to shift. Your space for calm clarity, spiritual depth, and Buddhist wisdom that strengthens your inner power, and stay until the end, because I'll share a bonus truth that many people never hear in their entire lives. So let me ask you this. If your peace were a temple, why would you allow everyone to walk through it with dirty feet? This video could be the turning point of your life, the moment you finally choose yourself. Let's begin. 1. Stop chasing love. Return to yourself first. Why do we run after people who don't value us, even when a part of us already knows we will get hurt? It's a quiet tragedy, isn't it? The heart, longing to be seen, starts running faster, believing that love is somewhere outside of itself. But the more it runs, the more it forgets where it came from. Like a river that leaves its source, it eventually dries out. The truth is, when you forget your worth, the world will remind you through pain, not to punish you, but to guide you. Pain is life's way of saying, "Come back home." There was once a monk who spent years searching for the divine across temples and mountains. He met sages, meditated in caves, and chanted under the night sky. Yet his heart stayed unsettled. One day, a wise elder said to him, "You are not searching for God, you are searching for yourself." In that moment, everything fell silent. He realized he had been running from the very place peace was waiting for him within. So too do we wander from our own worth, seeking in others what can only be reclaimed by returning inward. You see, every time you beg for love, you hand your peace to another. You measure your light by how someone else sees it. But self-worth is not given, it is remembered. You were born whole, you were born enough. The Buddha once taught that attachment is the root of suffering. And what is the greatest attachment of all? The need to be validated by others. When you believe love must come from outside, you live in constant fear of losing it. But when love flows from within, nothing can take it away. Ask yourself, who am I when no one is watching? What am I giving others that I refuse to give myself? What would change if I stopped chasing? Sit with these questions, not with judgment, but with compassion. Sometimes the chase is just a cry from the inner child who never felt seen. But you now can be the one who sees them. You can become the love you've been waiting for. Close your eyes. Breathe softly. Whisper to yourself, "I release the need to be chosen by others. I choose myself." Feel that sentence vibrate through your being. Each repetition pulls your power back home. Each breath reminds you, you were never unworthy. You were only distracted. The moment you finally return to yourself, everything changes. The right people begin to flow into your life, not because you chase them, but because your peace attracts them. Remember this, when you value yourself, you stop asking for crumbs and start creating feasts. The river that finds its source again never runs dry. 2. Self-worth is remembered, not earned. If everything in nature is born complete, Why do humans feel so incomplete? The tree never questions its right to grow. The ocean never doubts its depth. Even the smallest flower does not ask permission to bloom. Yet you, born of the same universe, spend your life wondering if you are enough. Somewhere along the way you were taught that your value must be proven, that love must be earned, and that peace must be deserved. But the Buddha taught that truth is not found by collecting more, it is revealed by letting go. The diamond does not beg to shine, it only needs light to reveal it. There was once a young monk who approached his teacher and said, "Master, I meditate, I serve, I do everything I can, yet I still feel unworthy." The teacher smiled softly and placed a mirror before him. "Tell me," he said, "does the mirror become more valuable when it reflects the moon instead of your face?" The student shook his head. "No, master." "Then understand," the teacher replied, "your worth does not depend on what is reflected in you, but on what you are made of." The monk bowed deeply, realizing the truth. He was not broken. He had only forgotten his light beneath the dust of comparison. You are the same. The worth is measured in achievements, approval, or perfection. But in chasing these illusions, you drift further from your essence. Remember, the sun never doubts its radiance. Even behind clouds it still shines, untouched, unmoved, unashamed. So too does your light exist beneath your fears, waiting patiently to be remembered. Who taught you that you had to earn love? Which false beliefs about yourself must you burn? What if, just for a moment, you stopped doubting your own light? Sit with these questions as if they were sacred, because they are. Every moment you spend searching for validation outside yourself, you deepen your separation from your own peace. But the moment you turn inward, the search ends. You realize you were never waiting to be worthy. You were waiting to remember that you already are. Place your hand on your heart. Breathe slowly. Whisper to yourself, "My worth is not conditional. I am already enough." Let those words melt into your being. Feel their truth echo through your body. Each breath carries you closer to the core of who you've always been. When you remember your worth, you stop seeking permission to exist. You stop chasing and begin attracting, because those who know their light don't compete, they illuminate. And in that illumination, you discover what the Buddha meant all along. Enlightenment is not becoming something more. It is finally remembering what you've always been. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not sure what to say, just type, "My value attracts everything." 3. Stop explaining your worth. Why do we feel the urge to keep proving ourselves to people who don't care? Why do we keep explaining our worth to those who have already decided not to see it? This is one of the quietest forms of suffering, the endless effort to convince others of something that was never theirs to validate. The Buddha once said that suffering begins where attachment begins, and when you are attached to being understood, you hand over your peace to those who do not value it. Remember this. Your value does not decrease in the presence of those who cannot see it. There was once a traveler who carried a bag of gold through a long, dusty road. Along the way, he met people who mocked him, calling the gold worthless because it was covered in dirt. So he began to wash it again and again, showing them its shine. But every time he explained, the gold grew duller and his journey slower. One day, an old monk saw him struggling and said, "Child, gold remains gold, even when thrown in dirt. Stop washing it for others and continue your path." In silence, the traveler understood that the need to prove was what made him weary, not the journey itself. When you feel that pull to explain your worth, pause and look inward. Ask yourself, who drains my energy the most? Do I defend myself too often? What happens if I choose peace over explanation? The truth is, you don't owe anyone a performance. Your silence can speak more loudly than your defense ever could. When you stop justifying your being, you begin to experience a rare kind of freedom, the freedom to exist without seeking approval. Practice this. For the next 24 hours, live in peaceful silence. Respond less. Observe more. Notice how much energy is saved when you no longer rush to explain. Notice how your inner world grows quieter when you stop trying to fix perceptions that are not yours to control. The mind will resist at first. It fears being misunderstood. But when you allow stillness to take the place of defense, peace begins to bloom where anxiety once lived. Gold does not need to shout its value. The sun does not argue with those who prefer darkness. In the same way, your worth does not depend on being recognized. It only depends on being remembered. You are not here to be understood by everyone. You are here to understand yourself deeply enough that misunderstanding no longer shakes you. And when that day comes, when you finally stop explaining your worth, you will find something far greater than validation. You will find peace. And in that peace you will realize silence was never weakness. It was wisdom waiting to be heard. 4. Replace pleasing with discernment. Why do people pleasers suffer the most emotionally? Because in their endless kindness, they forget one sacred truth, that love without self-respect becomes self-destruction. To please everyone is to lose yourself in the noise of others' desires. You begin to mistake approval for peace and compliance for compassion. But the Buddha taught that wisdom lies in discernment, the ability to know when to give and when to step back. Remember this: kindness without boundaries invites cruelty. There was once a monk who kept his temple doors open to all. Travelers would come, eat, rest, and leave in peace. But one day, a group of strangers entered, mocking the place, breaking its silence, leaving chaos behind. The monk, heartbroken, went to his teacher and said, "Master, I only wanted to be kind." The teacher replied, "Child, a door left open invites anyone, but a temple has gates for a reason, to protect peace, not to deny entry." That night, the monk locked the gates for the first time, not out of anger, but wisdom. The next morning, those who truly sought refuge returned and bowed before him. His kindness had not disappeared. It had matured. So many of us confuse people-pleasing with compassion. But compassion flows from strength, not fear. When you constantly say yes to avoid rejection, you trade your authenticity for temporary acceptance. Ask yourself, where in my life do I betray myself? Do I say yes out of guilt? Who would stay if I stopped pleasing them? These questions can be uncomfortable, but they are doorways to freedom. Because real love does not demand that you abandon yourself. It invites you to return to yourself. Before saying yes, pause and breathe. Ask, is this from self-love or fear? This single act of awareness can change everything. Self-love says yes with warmth and no with peace. Fear says yes while trembling inside. Begin to recognize the difference. The more you honor your inner truth, the more your energy begins to align with peace instead of exhaustion. You will find that the relationships built on your pleasing will fade, but those built on your authenticity will deepen. In Buddhism, discernment is not cold. It is clarity born from love. A wise heart gives without draining itself. It serves without losing balance, like a temple that welcomes all but still guards its silence. You can remain kind while protecting your inner sanctuary. When you replace pleasing with discernment, you stop giving to be loved. You give because you are love. And in that shift, peace becomes your natural state. You no longer beg for connection. You create it by being whole. Remember, when your yes comes from truth, even your silence becomes compassion. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not sure what to say, just type, "My value attracts everything," 5. Energy is currency. Spend it wisely. Why do we feel emotionally exhausted after some conversations and alive after others? It is because energy is not endless. It is sacred. Every thought, every emotion, every conversation costs something. Your energy is the purest form of currency you possess. Yet many spend it carelessly on arguments that lead nowhere, on people who take but never give, on worries that exist only in the mind. The Buddha once said, "Where your attention goes, your life flows." And so where you place your energy determines the quality of your existence. There was once a monk who carried a small oil lamp through the temple every evening. One night, several villagers came asking him to light their own lamps from his flame. Out of kindness, he agreed. One by one they came, until his lamp flickered weakly, barely glowing. The monk realized then, a lamp with too many plugs flickers and dies. The next night, he decided differently. He shared his light only with those who needed it to walk the dark path home. And this time, his lamp burned brighter through the night. The lesson was clear. True giving must be guided by wisdom, not guilt. Ask yourself, where does my energy leak? Who do I allow to drain me? What would I reclaim if I valued my energy as much as I value approval? Sometimes, exhaustion isn't a sign of doing too much. It's a sign of giving too much to what doesn't matter. Every yes you give to the unnecessary is a no to your peace. The Buddha's teaching of mindfulness isn't only about meditation. It's about awareness, knowing where your inner flame is being spent. Practice this. Create a no-energy list. Write down the habits, relationships, and thoughts that weaken your peace. Then, gently release them. This is not rejection. It is redirection. Protecting your energy is an act of compassion toward yourself. It allows your mind to stay clear, your emotions balanced, and your heart steady. When you stop pouring energy into what drains you, you create space for what nourishes you. Remember, your presence is power. When you spend your energy with intention, you radiate calm. You no longer chase attention, you command it through stillness. You no longer beg for time, you give it to what truly matters. Like the monk's lamp, your light becomes steady, unwavering, and pure. Your life will always reflect how you spend your energy. When your attention flows toward peace, your world becomes peaceful. When it flows toward fear, your world becomes restless. Choose where your energy goes, because that choice shapes your destiny. Protect it as you would protect something sacred, because it is. 6. Not everyone deserves access to you. Why do we tolerate disrespect from people we fear losing? Because somewhere deep inside, we believe that losing them means losing love. But the truth is, love built on fear is not love. It is dependence. The Buddha taught that attachment is the root of suffering, and when you cling to those who diminish your peace, you are not holding on to love. You are holding on to pain disguised as connection. Remember this. You teach others how to treat you by how you treat yourself. There was once a monk who tended to a sacred fire in the temple courtyard. People from the village would come and sit around it, some in reverence, some in carelessness. The monk noticed that those who sat too close without respect often got burned. So he placed stones around the fire, not to keep people away, but to protect both the flame and the people. One curious child asked, "Master, why not let everyone sit where they wish?" The monk smiled and said, "Because not everyone is ready to sit close to the fire. Some must first learn how to honor its heat. You are that fire. Your presence, your energy, your kindness, these are sacred flames. Not everyone deserves to sit close to them. Some will appreciate your warmth, others will misuse it. But your job is not to dim your light. It is to set boundaries that protect its purity. Ask yourself, why do I fear losing people who hurt me? Do I allow cheap behavior in my life? How can I protect my peace without closing my heart? Boundaries are not walls, they are gates of discernment. They keep out what poisons your spirit while allowing in what nourishes it. Visualize a circle of light around you. Inside it, only respectful souls are welcome. Outside it, send compassion. But do not lower your peace to meet their chaos. This practice is not about rejection, it's about recognition, knowing who is aligned with your growth and who feeds your suffering. When you honor your worth, you no longer beg for space in someone else's world. You create your own. The Buddha's path of right association teaches that the company you keep shapes the energy you carry. Protecting your space is not selfish, it is spiritual responsibility. You cannot pour wisdom from an empty vessel, nor can you heal in the presence of those who keep reopening your wounds. Not everyone deserves access to you, because not everyone has earned the peace you have fought for. Be kind, but be clear. Be loving, but be firm. Like the monk's fire, burn brightly, but only for those who know how to sit near your warmth without trying to control your flame. Boundaries are self-respect in action. Why do we feel guilty for saying no? Because from childhood, we were taught that goodness means compliance, that love means sacrifice, and that peace means pleasing others. But true peace does not come from bending. It comes from standing tall in truth. The Buddha taught that suffering arises when we abandon ourselves to satisfy illusions, and every time you say yes when your heart says no, you trade your peace for acceptance that never lasts. Remember this simple truth. If it costs your peace, the price is too high. There was once a monk who planted a sapling outside his hut. He watered it daily and shielded it from the harsh wind. But whenever strong gusts came, he would bend the young tree to prevent it from breaking. Years passed, and though the tree grew, it remained weak and crooked. One day an elder monk said, "You protected it too much. A tree grows tall not by bending for every wind, but by learning to stand firm against it." In that moment, the younger monk understood. Boundaries are not barriers, they are strength in motion. So many of us live like that tree, bending for every wind, hoping not to break relationships, avoiding disappointment, forgetting that each bend takes us further from our natural shape. Ask yourself, what boundary do I need today? Why do I fear disappointing others? What does honoring myself truly look like? The answers to these questions hold the key to emotional freedom. Boundaries are not selfish. They are self-respect in action. They are how you communicate to the world that your energy, time, and peace are sacred. Practice this. Say no. This doesn't align with me once today. Say it softly, but with conviction. Feel the silence that follows, not as guilt, but as power returning to you. In that moment, you reclaim something precious, the right to choose peace over pressure. Each boundary you set is a declaration that you have stopped betraying yourself to keep others comfortable. Remember, even compassion must have structure. The Buddha never taught endless giving. He taught balance, the middle way. Boundaries are your middle way between isolation and exhaustion. They allow love to exist without losing yourself inside it. Like a lamp protected by glass, you still shine, but your light remains undisturbed by careless hands. When you finally learn to say no without fear, you discover something profound. Those who truly value you will respect your limits. Those who don't were never aligned with your peace. Stand tall like that tree. Let the winds come and go, but never again bend so far that you forget the strength of your own roots. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not sure what to say, just type. My value attracts everything. 8. Detach to protect your spirit. Why does letting go feel like breaking, even when it is healing? Because the heart clings to what is familiar, even when it hurts. We fear emptiness more than we fear pain. But Buddhism teaches that true freedom is found not in holding tightly, but in releasing gently. Detachment is not coldness. It is clarity. It is the quiet understanding that not everything meant to touch your life is meant to stay. Remember this: detachment is not resignation. It is inner protection. There was once a monk who rescued a wounded bird during a storm. He cared for it, fed it, and kept it safe in a small cage until it healed. Over time, the bird sang beautifully each morning, and the monk grew attached to its song. When the day came to release it, his heart hesitated. What if it forgets me? What if it never returns, he thought. But the elder monk beside him whispered, "A bird cannot fly if tied to a broken branch." And with that, he opened the cage. The bird soared into the sky, and the monk realized his love was pure only when it was free. So many of us live as that monk did, holding on to people, memories and expectations long after they've served their purpose. We confuse attachment with love. Yet attachment drains the soul, while love allows space. Ask yourself, what am I afraid to let go of? What does this attachment cost me? What would freedom feel like if I allowed it in? Each answer reveals where your spirit has been chained. Practice this. Release one attachment today. It could be a habit that numbs you, a person who no longer respects your peace or even your constant need to control. Let it go, not in anger, but with compassion. Feel the lightness that follows, even if it feels uncomfortable. Detachment is not the absence of care. It is the presence of peace. It is choosing not to let the world's chaos live rent-free in your mind. The Buddha taught that clinging leads to suffering because all things are impermanent. When you accept this truth, you stop fighting change and begin to flow with life. Detachment does not close your heart. It refines it. It allows you to love deeply without losing yourself, to give freely without needing something in return, to walk away without resentment. When you detach, you protect your spirit from decay. You stop trying to force what is fading and begin to nurture what is real. Like the monk watching the bird take flight, you realize nothing is truly lost when released with love. You gain something far greater. The peace of knowing your worth no longer depends on what stays, but on how gracefully you let go. Heal your belief system. You are not broken. What if pain is not weakness but awakening? What if every crack in your heart is not a sign of failure but an opening for light to enter? The human mind has been trained to fear pain, to see it as something wrong, something to hide. But in Buddhist philosophy, pain is the messenger that brings awareness. It is not your enemy. It is your teacher. Your wounds are not your identity. They are your teachers. They appear to remind you that even suffering can serve your evolution. There was once a monk who tended to a dry, cracked patch of earth outside his monastery. Each day he poured water on it, but nothing grew. Seasons passed, and he almost gave up. Then one night, heavy rain fell for hours, and by dawn, tiny green shoots began to break through the ground. The elder monk smiled and said, "Cracked earth becomes fertile when touched by rain." It wasn't dead. It was waiting. The young realized the same truth applies to the heart. What feels broken is often just waiting for nourishment, waiting for your understanding, your patience, your love. You are not broken. You are becoming. The pain you carry is not proof of weakness. It is evidence of growth. Healing is not about fixing yourself. It's about remembering that you were never damaged to begin with. Ask yourself, what lie about me must die today? Am I addicted to emotional suffering because it feels familiar? Who am I without my story? These questions pierce through illusion and lead you to your essence, the self that exists beyond fear, beyond shame, beyond limitation. Practice this. Replace one negative belief with truth. Replace one negative belief with truth. Today, if your mind says, "I'm not enough," whisper, "I am whole." If it says, "I am broken," reply, "I am healing." Each correction is a small act of liberation. Over time, you'll begin to see that your suffering was never your prison. It was your initiation. The Buddha taught that enlightenment is the end of illusion, and the greatest illusion of all is the belief that you are not already. Divine healing begins the moment you stop fighting your pain and start listening to it like the cracked earth. You only need the rain of awareness to awaken what was dormant. Your scars do not diminish your light, they give it shape. The world doesn't need your perfection, it needs your presence. So breathe deeply, let the old beliefs fall away like dry leaves from a tree. You are not broken, you are remembering your wholeness. The moment you accept that truth, every wound becomes wisdom, every tear becomes strength, and every moment of darkness becomes the soil from which your new self begins to bloom. Emotional balance is your true strength. If you cannot control life, what can you control? This question sits quietly at the heart of wisdom. Life flows with unpredictability. Storms arrive, people disappoint, and circumstances shift beyond your grasp. Yet within this chaos, there exists one realm. You can govern your mind, your reaction, your inner balance. The Buddha taught that suffering arises not from the world itself, but from the mind's failure to serve. Remember this, the mind is a servant. When it rules, we suffer. There was once a monk who walked along the shore during a fierce storm. Waves crashed violently, pulling sand and debris into the wind. Yet far from the shore, the sea remained calm, its depth untouched by surface turmoil. The elder monk beside him said, "See how the sea remains steady beneath the storm. So too must your mind be your depth, cannot be disturbed by passing winds." The young monk realized that strength was not in resisting the storm, but in cultivating a stillness within that no storm could touch. Many of us are like the surface of the sea, reacting immediately to every wave, letting our emotions dictate our words and actions. Ask yourself, do my emotions control me? Where do I lose my center? What triggers must I master? These questions reveal the currents beneath your awareness, the places where your energy is spent unconsciously, and the moments when your inner peace is sacrificed for temporary reaction. Practice this before responding to any challenge today. Take one mindful breath, feel the air enter, and let it anchor your awareness. Let a single moment of conscious breathing remind you that the storm may rage outside, but within you can remain grounded. This small pause is a seed of emotional sovereignty. It teaches your mind that it serves you, not the other way around. The path to emotional balance is not suppression. It is awareness like the sea. You can feel the force of the waves without being carried away. You can experience anger without harming sadness, without despair, joy without attachment. Each breath is a practice, each moment a choice, each response an opportunity to strengthen your calm. When you master your emotions, you reclaim your power. Life's unpredictability no longer becomes suffering. It becomes a dance in which you move with grace rather than struggle. The storms will come, but you will remain centered. Unshaken, deeply rooted emotional balance is your true strength, not the absence of challenge, but the presence of inner clarity. The serenity that carries you through every wave, and the unwavering knowledge that your peace is yours to protect. Always, we'd love to hear your thoughts. If you are not sure what to say, just type, "My value attracts everything." Self-love is discipline, not comfort. Why does true self-love sometimes feel uncomfortable? Because it demands honesty, courage, and action qualities that cannot thrive in the soft cocoon of comfort. Many confuse self-love with indulgence, with ease, with permission to remain stagnant. But Buddhism teaches that growth arises from mindful discipline, from facing what we resist rather than hiding from it. Remember this, you cannot heal in the same place you were destroyed. True care for yourself begins where fear, habit, and avoidance end. There was once a monk who forged a sword to protect his village. He spent hours in the heat of the fire, hammering metal, shaping it against resistance. At first, he longed to soften the edges to avoid the pain, but the elder master said, "A sword is shaped by fire, not petals. Its strength comes from enduring heat and pressure." In that moment, the monk understood that resilience and power require discomfort. The sword's purpose was fulfilled, not by ease, but by discipline, and so is the purpose of your self-love. Many of us clinging to routines, relationships, and comforts that dishonor us. We avoid confrontation, delay growth, and settle for safety at the expense of our potential. Ask yourself, what is one habit that dishonors me? What do I need to stop tolerating? How can I be loyal to my future self? These questions are invitations to act, not just to reflect. Each answer illuminates a path from complacency toward courage, from distraction toward integrity. Practice this. Do one hard thing today for your future self. It may be confronting a truth, ending a harmful pattern, setting a firm boundary, or choosing effort over comfort. Feel the tension, notice the resistance, and breathe through it. This is not punishment, it is devotion. By acting in alignment with your highest self, you honor the life you're becoming. Self-love is forged, not gifted. The Buddha taught that liberation arises from mindful choices, not passive indulgence. Comfort does not transform. It preserves what no longer serves. Discipline is the vessel through which your potential flows. When you choose what is difficult yet necessary, you are planting seeds for resilience, clarity, and unwavering peace. When self-love becomes discipline, you stop seeking validation outside yourself. You stop tolerating disrespect, neglect, and compromise. You begin to serve the person you are becoming, not the version that exists only in habit or fear. And in that process, discomfort transforms into strength and discipline into freedom. The path of true self-love is not easy, but it is the only path that leads to the life your soul was meant to inhabit. Bonus lesson. You attract what you believe you deserve. Why do most prayers go unanswered? Not because the universe is silent, but because we are not aligned with what we seek. We ask for abundance while secretly believing we are unworthy. We speak desires with our lips, yet hold limitations in our hearts. Buddhism teaches that intention alone is not enough. It is the energy behind the intention that shapes reality. The universe doesn't respond to words. It responds to your vibration, your inner state. If your energy is filled with doubt, fear, or old wounds, no amount of asking can bring in what you're not open to receive. There is a story of a monk who held a small cup, hoping to fill it with clear spring water. He placed it under the flowing stream, yet the water never stayed. It simply spilled out. Frustrated, he asked his teacher, "Why won't my cup hold the water?" The teacher replied, "Because it must first be empty to receive." In that moment, the monk understood. His cup was already full of doubt, fear, and the residue of the past. Only when he emptied it could the pure water remain. The same is true for your life. What you attract, love, abundance, peace, is a reflection of what you believe you deserve. So ask yourself, what level of life have I accepted? What am I truly ready to receive? Do my actions match my worth? Because if your energy whispers limitation, you will attract limitation. But if your presence radiates confidence, clarity, and self-respect, the world will mirror that energy back to you. Your worth is the magnet, your inner clarity is the signal, and the universe always responds to both. Practice saying quietly, "I am ready to receive what matches my worth." Let these words settle in your chest and expand with every breath you take. See yourself as a clean, open, empty cup. Every old doubt, every fear of not being enough, every story of inadequacy can now be gently released. Only then can life flow into you fully, without resistance or hesitation. Many people settle for very little because deep inside they believe they don't deserve more. The Buddha taught that craving and attachment create suffering, but so do self-doubt and a lack of trust in abundance. When your belief in yourself is small, the universe reflects that back to you. But when your energy carries courage, clarity and trust, new doors open with ease. Opportunities begin to appear and relationships grow naturally. You attract what you believe you deserve, not by wishing, but by becoming. When you nurture your self-worth, live with integrity, and align your inner energy with your highest values, you become a light for the life you want. The moment you accept your true value, you stop asking for permission to receive. You stop settling for less and realize that everything you have been waiting for has simply been waiting for you to be ready. Breathe deeply and feel this truth. The universe always responds to the energy you hold. Empty your cup, trust your worth, and allow life to flow to you freely. You are ready. You are worthy. You are enough. Here's a short reminder of these truths. Stop begging for love and return to yourself. When you constantly chase people and try to be chosen, you disconnect from your own worth. Self-respect begins the moment you stop seeking validation from those who cannot truly value you. You don't lose people by loving yourself, only the ones who were never meant for you. The right people will respect your worth. No begging is required. Self-worth is remembered, not earned. You were born worthy, but conditioning and emotional pain made you believe your value depends on success or approval. True self-worth is not something you gain. It is something revealed when you clear away false beliefs. When you reconnect with your inner value, confidence rises naturally. Silence is power, so stop explaining your worth. Not everyone deserves access to your truth or your energy. The more you explain yourself, the more you drain your inner strength. Silence isn't weakness, it is emotional control. When you stop defending yourself, your energy rises and your peace returns. Replace people-pleasing with discernment, because people-pleasing is emotional self-abandonment. When you try too hard to avoid conflict or keep others happy, you slowly lose your sense of self. Discernment means giving your kindness wisely, not to everyone. Choose peace over pleasing, and your soul will thank you. Remember, your energy is your currency. Spend it with care. Spend your energy wisely. Everything you think, feel, and do carries a vibration, and if you give your emotional energy away carelessly, life will begin to feel heavy and overwhelming. Protecting your energy is not selfish. It is essential for your clarity, focus, and inner peace. Where your energy flows, your life follows. Remember, not everyone deserves access to you. Attachment to the wrong people weakens your spirit, because emotional access is sacred and must be earned through respect, honesty, and mutual care. You don't need to push people away, but you must choose carefully who you allow close to your heart. Protecting your inner space is how you protect your peace. Boundaries are self-respect in motion. There is no peace without them. A boundary is not an argument. It is a clear decision about what you allow and do not allow into your life. Those who truly care for you will respect your limits. Boundaries create emotional strength, clarity, and safety. Detachment is also essential to protect your spirit. Detachment does not mean you stop caring. It means you care without losing yourself. When you cling to people or outcomes, fear begins to take over. detachment brings freedom, balance, and a deeper sense of stability. When you release what drains you, your spirit naturally rises. To truly protect your energy, you must also heal your belief system. You are not broken. Most suffering comes from hidden thoughts like, "I'm not enough," or "I don't deserve better." These beliefs quietly run your life until you challenge them. Healing begins the moment you start questioning the stories you tell yourself. You are not broken, you are growing. Emotional balance is your true strength. You cannot control other people or the circumstances of life, but you can always control your reactions. Real strength is not found in suppressing your emotions, it is found in mastering them. When you remain calm in the midst of chaos, you are powerful. Stillness becomes a spiritual weapon. Self-love, too, is a discipline, not a comfort. It is not about indulgence, but about responsibility. It means choosing what supports your future rather than what satisfies your momentary mood. Growth requires honesty, courage, and consistency. True self-love is choosing what you need over what you merely want. Remember, you attract what you believe you deserve. The quality of your life always reflects the depth of your self-worth. You don't receive what you desire, you receive what you believe you deserve. When you raise your standards, life rises to meet you. Your inner belief shapes your outer reality. One day you will grow tired, not of people, but of betraying yourself. And that is when healing truly begins. When you finally value yourself, you stop chasing, begging, and explaining, because you realize that your worth was never up for debate. You simply come into alignment. Peace becomes more important than popularity. Your energy matters more than attention. Self-respect becomes stronger than fear, and that's when everything begins to shift. Life is too sacred to waste on self-doubt. You are not here to shrink. You are here to rise, to grow, to create, and to honor your soul. Your worth is not defined by how others treat you, but by how you choose to treat yourself. As Zen wisdom teaches, when you find your own light, you stop waiting for others to light your path. The world doesn't change when others believe in you. It changes when you finally believe in yourself. If this message touched your heart, like this video, share it with someone who needs these words. For more wisdom on living with peace, clarity, and strength, tell me in the comments, what is one thing you will no longer tolerate in your life?